most communities, the newspaper is the core information pipeline for every media in the community. The stories that are going to define the morning news that day are going to be the ones that are in the newspaper. It's pretty much done that way at all broadcast media.
Most of what you hear on radio is coming out of news that you first saw in your morning paper.
Television journalists would put newspaper journalists on camera because they knew what was going on. There's half as many of those people working in the U.S. today as there were 8 years ago.
20, 30, 40,000 reporters have been journalists, have been laid off.
The model in TV right now is you find somebody who's got an extreme view, you pair him or her up against somebody else who's got the opposite view, and they shout at eeach other for 5 minutes.
Listen! I just love my country, and I'm here for it.
So that's not journalism. That's I don't know what it is. It's vaudeville.
The kind of storytelling that happens on a website encourages kind of much more superficial reporting and storytelling.
1.4 million new blog entries a day being posted, the vast majority of them by people who have no idea how to be journalists.
Anyone who's in journalism right now is deeply, deeply concerned about the future of what it is that we do.
City councilors are finding that nobody's covering them. Mayors are finding nobody is calling them and asking them about what they're doing.
And the reason why is because newspapers are just laying people off in droves.
Now, the most common anxiety I hear is, I don't know who to trust anymore.
You may have felt the ground shift this morning in Portland, not from an earthquake, but from the first layoffs in modern history at the Oregonian newspaper.
The paper actually had a contract until last year, stating no full-time news people would be laid off for economic reasons. But times have changed, and many newspapers are fighting for survival. You only need look north to Seattle, where the Post-Intelligencer stopped publishing altogether.
Beat reporters are the ones that are, because they're on the front lines, they catch corruption, waste, injustice, when it's early on.
In several cities, the loss of the watchdog role of the press has spawned new entities, non-profit, non-partisan investigative news services staffed by professional journalists. In New York, Minneapolis, Austin, San Diego, San Francisco, and Seattle, these centers are filling the void of original investigative reporting and are engaging audiences in new ways. But what will happen in Portland? Who will take up the mantle of watchdog media here?